Hello, everyone. My name is Deja Bunyan, and I represent Duke University as a Sound of Monuments and Protest Fellow. My research covers the contributions of Ida B. Wells and how she used her platform as an investigative journalist, womanist, and civil rights activist to bring awareness to lynching in the South. During my research, it took some trial and error to really nail down exactly what I wanted my focus to be. At first, I started off with looking at how lynchings impacted Black women, and then I went down the road to looking at how racial slurs embedded in nursery rhymes had impacted children, and how children saw lynching to kind of tie in that soundscape. But I just kind of had some challenges tying in the nursery rhymes into the whole grand scheme of things as far as lynchings impacting Black women. So therefore, I felt that lynching kind of impacted the entire Black community. So I wanted to focus more on the financial and emotional and political chokeholds. I wanted to kind of mirror my research around what Ida B. Wells had already kind of mapped out. Not just for the sake of time restrictions and deadlines for the fellowship, but I also wanted to show how those chokeholds translated in today's society. I really appreciated having this opportunity to research more on this topic about lynching and Ida B. Wells, and to just really highlight a Black woman who contributed, led, and was a change agent for the Black community. And she honestly has inspired me to not only just take her research, but to do more. I know that there is an Ida B. Wells journalism organization. And I just really hope that with this research, it'll kind of catapult me into diving a little bit more into what else she's contributed as far as her journalism and writing skills. So I really appreciate this opportunity again, and I really hope that y'all enjoy hearing about, what we learned as far as the Sound Monuments and Protest Fellowship. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm part of the Sounds and Monuments team, and the specific monument that I was looking at was the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, which relates to lynching. So my project was about sonic reactions to lynching. And I would say my biggest difficulty in this project was just kind of narrowing it down to a specific topic. And sticking with that topic, because I changed my topic quite a few times. Still keeping the general thread of information, but there was just so many sources. There's so much sonic information that relates to lynchings historically. There's the songs and speeches and recordings and plays even. So there's so much to choose from. And for that reason, I kept changing my topic. I started off just focusing on music, then I moved to language and a linguistic analysis, and eventually I settled on my current theme, which is just sonic reactions and recordings, which I just think provides a lot more varied types of sources and can give reader a much broader vantage point of what a project is trying to do. And yeah, despite struggling with picking up a topic, ultimately I did find a solid collection of sources that I do think address and develop our premise to examine sound's relation to monuments, especially in the context of the National Memorial for Peace and Justice and lynching.
Hello, my name is Princess Jackson, and my project is titled "We Gonna Be Alright, Regrounding Rumors of War in Hip Hop Culture." One major hurdle that I encountered during my time in Story Plus was the infamous writer's block. For one, this is my first time really writing and analyzing a piece of art like this. So at first I was really unsure of myself and my ability to do that. And once I knew what I wanted to say, my words never seemed to come together the way that I wanted it to. However, checking in with Ellie, our project manager, throughout my writing process, and also getting feedback from Vance and the other members on my team during our workshops and weekly meetings, it helped me gain the confidence and clarity needed to complete the project. And I think like overall throughout these 6 weeks, I definitely learned that writing and researching can be a lot easier and fulfilling when it's done in community.
Hi, my name is Melinda Wooler, and I'm a member of the Sound of Monuments and Protests team, and I was working on the Rumors of War statue. So my work for this project was kind of twofold. One component was a written piece I did, sort of creating an argument about Monument Avenue and its soundscape, so and its connection to Rumors of War. So I really looked through a bunch of speeches around the erection of the statues on Monument Avenue, as well as looking through social media posts to find videos by citizens themselves to really understand the soundscape there. And then the main project that I worked on for this was a visualization of reactions to the removal of Confederate monuments, which I tried to keep centered around the debate with Monument Avenue and Rumors of War. And so I found reactions, at least from each Confederate state, all around the state, to try and explain sort of how the geographic differences, the historical differences contributed to the environment and context that these reactions came from. So within this map, I have descriptions of each of the cities along with the reaction and resources for further exploration. Working on this project was really wonderful. I found it fascinating and illuminating, but I ran into a lot of software difficulties through it. I was originally going to use a mapping software called Omeka Neatline and was unable to get access to it, and then had to try and fail with a bunch of other platforms before I finally found Google Earth, which is a really wonderful software, by the way, that was very intuitive to use and worked very well for my project. So despite having a few pitfalls, I was able to even come up with workarounds before I figured out something that worked. So I thought that this entire experience was incredibly interesting and illuminating, and provided me with a lot of research skills, including adaptability, and I'm very proud of the work that we've done.